And here we go. Hello, everybody. You're very, very welcome. This is Angelic Mooney, and today we're going to talk about angels and angelic support. So a little bit about look at the things that support you in your life, and look at what support you can put in place in your life to support you so that you can live the life of your dreams. So I was thinking about this last night, why the angels were giving me this theme. And immediately I was brought back to a time 4 years ago, just under 4 years ago. And I was in my third year of my degree. I did a degree in education and training, so I could say I'm a teacher, even though I had been teaching for years. But I decided to do a 4-year degree. And I was in the third year, and Emily was about 8 months. So I got up in the morning. I was working part-time. I had 2 young kids. I was setting up an online business. That was quite a struggle at the time. I paid out a lot of money, so I was in a bit of debt. I was struggling. My health was just, I just wasn't looking after myself at all. And I was trying to get assignments in for college. The kids would get sick. I would be like, things were quite stressful. And one day I remember it very clearly, just before we were going to school. I was going to drop Noah to school. Emily was 8 months, so only a baby. And I picked Noah up, and something clacked in my back. And so something clacked in my back, and that was it, agony. I was in agony. I was bent over in agony. So I paused for a minute, then I continued to get the kids ready for school, to get Noah ready for school. So in agony, I lifted the baby into the car seat in the car, got Noah into the car, drove to school in agony, took the baby back out of the car seat, put her back into the pram, brought Noah into school, came back, got into the car, put the baby back in, and collapsed, and was just in so much pain. And I rang my husband then, and I said, look, I'm after doing something to my back. I'm in a lot of pain here, and I don't even know how I'm going to be able to drive home, or how I'm going to come back and collect Noah, which was in a few hours. And he said to me, look, I can't get away. I think he was working at the time. He was doing he was doing a degree as well at the time, a full-time degree, and working part-time. So it was a crazy time to think about it. So he said he couldn't get away. So that moment was just, it was the moment of effing breakdown. And it was like I stepped outside of my body, and I was watching myself and watching the words that I was using. And I said, I broke down and started crying, and I just said to him, I just have so much to do. I just have so much to do. And it was, I couldn't see how I was going to get through. Things just reached breaking point. And if you think about, the strain that I was putting on myself, on my shoulders, the burdens, the stuff that I was carrying, that I thought that I had to do everything. It's no wonder my back gave out. It's no wonder my back snapped and just said, that's enough. We need rest. So I managed to drive home. How, I don't know. Picked Emily out of the car, back into the house. And then I took a breath. I found some painkillers, and I called my mother and I called my aunt. So my mother organized to collect Noah, and my aunt took me to this healer. He did a matsu, and I had a session with him, and he got me so that I was able to walk and physically continue with the day. And then at some stage I went to the doctor, and I got a note and got a few weeks off college, and got an extension on assignments and things. But it was a really big learning point for me, because I thought I had to do everything. I thought that the world was going to, like, I was quite shocked that the world just kept going, that college didn't throw me out because I didn't have my assignments in, that the world didn't stop because I couldn't drive for 3 days. There was support there and help there for me if I reached out for it. And the thing is that a lot of us will wait until we reach that breaking point before we realize that how unsupported we are. And today I just wanted to get you thinking about the support that you have in your life and how you can become more supported in your life, the little things that you can do to help yourself. So for me, it was, I stopped trying to be the best in my class because I thought, I can't be the best mother, I can't be the best entrepreneur, businesswoman, and be the best in college. The fact that I'm doing a degree with 2 young kids is a miracle. And if I get through and get that piece of paper at the end of 4 years, that would be a miracle. So I stopped trying to be the best. I stopped trying to be perfect, and I just focused on getting it done and getting as much support there as I could. And one of the supports was I went to the doctor constantly for extensions, for letters to send to the college. So when somebody got sick, I just was, whatever, I give up. Okay, time to chill out. And another thing that I've noticed about myself recently is there was a time when if my computer got a virus, because I work so much online, that I would literally be having a breakdown because I couldn't communicate with people. And one of the things that's happened recently, and I've noticed this, but it's been happening for the last 6 months, is that it doesn't really bother me when technology breaks down. I take it as part of the course. I take it as the energy is working. So I notice now with clients that I've gone off track, but that energy, communication and technology is affected by energy. So, and there's a thing called, everybody's calling it Mercury retrograde, but actually in Ireland we just call it Murphy's Law. When you want something to work and it just goes wrong. You know, you need to make a phone call and the phone doesn't work, or you can't find your phone, or you're in a queue and you're really in a hurry and the next queue moves faster. So it's that sort of, it's just Murphy's Law. So the only thing you can really do is just stop and relax and just let that go and just look. So that's one of the ways that I support myself now. I really don't take things so seriously. You know, I used to get worried. I couldn't make a blab there about a month ago as part of the boot camp, and somebody got quite annoyed with me, sent me a few emails, they couldn't get on, and I just didn't take it on board, where before I would have been so devastated to let somebody down, me taking on the worries of the world again. I would have been so disappointed with myself that I couldn't push myself to do that blab, that I couldn't find a way and make it work. And there are a lot of entrepreneurs out there that are push, and go. And if you really want this, you can make it happen. And I think there's a place for that, but I also think there's a place for acknowledging where you are in your life and when you need outside support and when you need to just stop and just put your hands up and say, I can't do anymore. So, am I staying on track? What else is it that I want to say? So I want you to write in the chat box your aha moments. If there's anything that's coming up for you that's like, oh my God, that's exactly what I needed to hear today, or because whatever ahas you have, we'll have it for the whole group. So just drop in the chat box and give me your ahas. And I also want you to start thinking about the supports. We're going to do a little meditation now in a minute, but the supports that you have in your life and the supports that you need in your life. So the biggest thing, the number one thing that all of the students that take the Transform with Angels course and the Mastery with Metatron course that I see is a lack of kindness towards ourselves. And you know, I go on and I give feedback every Friday, and every single week, 9 times out of 10, my feedback is to somebody, just please be kind to yourself. So I'll give you an example of that. There was, I was talking to somebody during the week, and she had brought her 2 kids out swimming. And the next day her daughter woke up and said that yesterday was just the best day of my life. And my heart opened, and I thought, oh my God, isn't that a beautiful memory? And she said, and I wasn't even present. I didn't want to be there. I really had a million other things to do. And I could hear the guilt and the hurt in her voice. And I said to her, will you put down the stick for a minute? You're beating yourself up with this worry, guilt stick. Your daughter just told you that even if you weren't even present, that she just had the best day of her life. Can it get any better if you were present? So if she just had the best day of her life, can you not, instead of saying, well, I did that, I brought her swimming and gave her that memory. Instead of that, she immediately went into the guilt, the anger, treating herself so badly. And that, if there's one piece of support that you can give yourself that's so important, it's just kindness. We talk often about kindness and giving out there to other people, but we're so hard on ourselves. So if you could just bring support, bring that kindness and that love back to yourself, and put down that stick. I said to this person I was speaking to, I said, go out into your garden, find any old stick and burn it, break it, bury it, and say, I'm letting go of this worry stick today. I'm letting go of this guilt stick and this guilt trip. I'm letting it go. I don't need it anymore. I'm putting down the stick, and stop beating yourself up. And that's what I'd say to you today is just bring some kindness into your life. Bring some love. Think about how the angels see us. Your angels just, it's hard to understand what conditional love is, but they have been with you every step of the way. They know your past. They know who you are. Even in your darkest moments, they know who you are, and they still love you. And they've seen you in your best moments, and they still love you. They're impartial. They're just pure compassion. And there's not a stick in sight. So the only people that can beat you up, it's generally yourself. So this week I want you just to put down that stick. And when you're out there and you're being kind to other people, say, how can I be kind to myself? And there's other ways that you can be kind. Like for me, pushing myself to do my assignments, it was kinder for me to just say, it's okay if you don't get them done on time. It's okay if you don't get 100%. It's okay if you're in such a hurry that you forget the car seat of the baby and you have to go back, and it means that you're late and you arrive late. It's okay. All of it is okay. And one of the things that I use to support me now at the moment, right now in my life, in the last few weeks, is it's all perfect. Everything is perfect. And, I really recommend a meditation practice, a spiritual practice, whether that's walking, singing, dancing, sitting down, meditating, whatever it is. I love to mantra. But I have found that every time I sit down to mantra, especially in the mornings, somebody arrives in the bed with me. So, and I was really letting that annoy me, and I really need to be sitting down, doing my mantra. I need my mantra. And I spoke to somebody who's a Buddhist and who's quite practiced, a few years practicing Buddhist. And he said to me, so we have these great conversations, and he said to me, your children are your meditation. And that's what you need to do. So for me, my kids, and I've spoken about this before, my kids have become my meditation. They have become my master, my teacher. And I'm learning so much from them. And I mean, I still have my wobbles. I still lose my temper. I have good days and I have bad days. and I just do the best that I can. But I definitely have changed that. That's one train of thought. Instead of the guilt stick, I'm now thinking it's all okay, it's all perfect. Even if I don't mantra today, it's perfect. If I don't mantra for a year, whatever I get done today is perfect. If I can smile today, that's good enough. So thinking about good enough. So when I think about support, there's spiritual support, there's financial support. You know, have you got savings in your account to give you security? Have you got a pension plan set up for yourself? These are supports that offer us security in our life. Have you got spiritual support? Have you got teachers, mentors, coaches? Are you taking part in training programs? Have you got your triad of spiritual support there? You know, the only reason that I'm actually teaching anything about angels was purely started from a selfish place, that I needed to be around people that were interested in angels. So I, shaking, set up my first angel group so that I could be in a space where I could talk openly about angels, because I didn't have that anywhere else in my life. So it was to give me support. And right throughout my work, support has been working within communities, and that community and group support has been one of the most valuable things for me in my life. Friendships, and I have virtual friends and real friends and family, and my sisters are fantastic, and my brother, and so it's about all the different types of relationships and the different types of support that you can bring into your life. But we need teachers. So whatever you need to learn, you need to get yourself a teacher. I have been studying meditation for years, and different ways of being mindful and being spirit, you know, trying to live a spiritual life in this physical body and this physical existence, and trying to understand it. And a lot of my thinking now is around the urban monk, the modern mystic. So how we are, how we can have mystical experience in everyday life, doing the ironing, you know, having a shower, screaming at your kids. So I've gone off track. What was I going to say? Yes, so you need teachers. So I've been studying meditation for a long, long time, but I have two teachers. I have one teacher that I see every single week, once or sometimes twice a week, and I go and I sit with her, and I just mantra with a group of people. And that's one way that I support myself to keep furthering my practice and deepening my practice. And the other teacher I have is I go outside of Dublin once a month, and I sit with my teacher within a group for a whole day. And sometimes it can be in nature, sometimes it can be in a beautiful holistic centre. It's in Kildare. So, and I'm always training. I always have some sort of training program on, or some group that I'm part of, that I'm learning with, and that I can be the student as well, you know, and that I can ask questions. And I've often said this, that the only people that we can see everything from these eyes out in the world, but the only people we can't see is ourselves. So we need other people, we need our relationships, we need the support for people to see us, to show us, to be the mirror, to show us what's going on. So, you know, have you ever been there and you've had a problem and it's going around and around and around and around in your head? And you just speak to somebody and they're just able to say one word or one sentence or give you one piece of insight that just completely changes that in an instant, where you've been going around with it, around and around and around. It could be for weeks or months or sometimes for years, and somebody says something and it just shifts. And that's why we need teachers, and that's why we need community, and that's why we need to reach out wherever we can. And there's plenty of free support. You can pay for support. I pay for a meditation teacher, and then I have a mastermind, and that's a mutual support. So we really support each other. We give and take. I give as much of my expertise as possible, and that's the place I go to when I really need help and support. And Inga is in that group. Thanks, Inga. Inga is one of my number ones that I go to when I need support. And so there's different types of support, and I feel so strongly about this that the second module, the course that I designed, Mastery with Metatron, the second module is entitled Support. And it's I give people a month to think about the type of support that they have in their life and how they can develop other supports. And I'll give you an example. I was talking to one of the people that was taking the course, or she was about to take the course, and she said to me, I'm working really hard, and then it takes me a while to wind down, and the house is a mess. And then I have to spend 2 or 3 days cleaning. And I just said to her, would it be a support for you if you got somebody in and paid them, what would that be, £40, €40 to come and clean your house once a week? And probably someone that came in and got stuck in for 2 hours would do a much faster, quicker, and maybe even a better job than you if you're tired. And it's like, and if you're in business, it's getting a VA, getting yourself into a mastermind, into a coaching program. You know, when I was a light worker, trying unsuccessfully to run a business for 15 years, burnt out, exhausted, broke, in debt, and very bad health, and was on the verge of giving up, and decided, okay, I need to learn business. I need to learn some business skills here so that I can complement, so that I can keep doing this work. And I invested in that. I invested really at a high level in that to get the type of support that I needed. So it's about looking at, and there was a girl recently that said to me, I can't afford the Transform with Angels course. It was at a discount. It was €97 for 12 weeks. And I said to her, it probably worked out at €8 a week. And I said to her, everybody is spending €8 a week on something, whether that's a couple of copies or a bottle of wine or, I don't know, photocopy paper, something that you can give up for something else that's a priority, that's really going to support you in your life. So I'm waffling. I hope I've touched a few chords with people, and I'm getting you to think about the supports that you can take in your life. The Transform with Angels course is if you want to deepen your relationship with your angels and get some support on your spiritual path. If you want to do that, I'm there to support you in that. And I'll put a link up. And the Mastery with Metatron is a fantastic support mechanism for light workers in business. So if you're interested in that, I can help you in that as well. And there's about 4 more days left of the discount on that. So, and I'll post a link as well for that. And any other way, there's lots of free support in the bigger angel group. You can have lots of free support from me. And, you know, YouTube is one of the biggest libraries of free support that we have out there. And even the literal libraries that we have around the corner are full of books and resources to support you in your life. So one more quick thing. I have noticed in the groups that the people that are the most active, that are the most supportive to other people in the group, you know, they're posting messages, they're posting angel cards, they're really reaching out and sharing. And it can be fearful. It can be that point, well, oh, will they laugh? Will they, you know, and I have to reassure you that you're in a safe place within my communities. And it's really important that you take those leaps and that you continue to share and reach out to other people in the groups. And the people that do support others receive that back automatically. I know you don't do it for that reason, but the more you give, the more you get. I've been giving in the last couple of months, pushed by the angels to do this. I really didn't think I had the time or the energy. But what I have found is that the more I have given, the more I have received in terms of compliments, love, gratitude, just support from everybody in the communities. So what I'm going to do, is there anyone that would like to hop on and let me see, have a reading? Would anyone like to have a reading? So if you'd like to have some one-to-one coaching, we can do that. I'm going to use the Archangel Michael deck. And let's see. So we're going to do an angel card reading, and that's for somebody. So is there anybody there? Grania, you're here and you were bumped off the last time. You couldn't connect the last time. Do you want to jump on now and have a reading? So I'm clicking, Grania, hoping that you're going to get on. I couldn't get you on the last day. No, Grania, your connection must be a little bit weak. There's nothing happening, Inga. It's just moving in and out. So let me see. Is there anybody else there that would like a reading? Anybody else that would like a reading? That's so funny. Is there anybody else that would like a reading? Okay, so we have Grania again trying in. Let's try Grania. Let's try. So if you'd like a reading and you don't want to come on, you can just post a question down in the chat box and I'll choose a card for you. Grania, I can't get you in, love. It's not working. So, Rosemary, will you try that there? You were trying to get in there. Rosemary, just try that again. Just try that again, Rosemary. Here we go. No, we don't seem to be getting anybody online. So I'm going to just try Rosemary, and then I'll try one more person, and then I'll just do some reading. So we will just trust. Can't see her, Inga. All I can see is her face, and it's flashing. Okay, sometimes it takes some time. So I am going to bump ahead. So if there's anybody here, so Kiara, my love, it's been a long, long time. I'm going to pick a card for you, love. Okay. And the card is, admit the truth to yourself and act accordingly. So if you see this card, there's a unicorn. I don't know what the bird is. To me, it looks like a kingfisher. It looks like a kingfisher, and there's a dove. So it looks to me, Kiara, it says, I appreciate your support. So we're back on support in helping me face my feelings with grace and acceptance so that I can be lovingly honest with myself and others. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for giving me courage and strength. This is Archangel Michael. So there's something, Kiara. Where am I going, Aisling? I seem not to know that anymore, but can I call in? Ben is making too much noise. That's fine, love. So Kiara has a 4-year-old as well, same as Emily. So I completely understand that, darling. So your card is about, there's something, it says admit the truth to yourself and act accordingly. You know, sometimes we have a very sharp intuition and a gut feeling, but we spend most of our lives denying it and pretending that it's not there, that it's not true. And hold on one sec, sorry, I'm going to just put that in there. That's the 2 programs. Just going to stick that in there because I forgot I said I would put that in. Okay, so there's so we have this really well-developed sense of intuition. We can see it in our kids, but as we grow older, we can deny it. We can pretend that it's not there. So, you know, people say to me, how do I know angels are there? I can't see them, I can't feel them, I don't know that they're there. you do actually know that they're there, but you've just trained yourself to negate and to what am I trying to say? That we train ourselves. I've just lost my train of thought. You know, I'm going to talk a little bit about the 4 clairs. So there's 4 different ways that your angels use to communicate with you, and some of you will know this. There's clairvoyance, which is sometimes you might see visions or colors and see things. So there's clairaudience, which is hearing things. So I was in a circle once, and people were hearing dolphin sounds and voices, and I have had experiences in my life where I've heard voices. There's clairsentience, where you sense things, where you have a gut feeling of things. So, and that's my strongest sense. And there's another one, I can never remember the name of it, but it's about clear knowing, and it's about where you just know something. Once I was watching, a friend of mine was doing a crosswords. I hate crosswords. And he read out the question, and he said to me, "Who's this famous author?" And I said, off the top of my head, Nathaniel Hawthorne. And he counted it out, and it fitted exactly. And he said, "How did you know that?" And I said, "I have absolutely no idea. I've never read a book by this author. I don't know who he is. It just, the words just popped out of my mouth and ended up in." So there's a knowing. You just know it, but you don't know how you know it. So there's 4 different ways. But most of us, when we think of angels, we think that we need to be able to see them. I didn't see angels for a long, long time. I didn't see anything for a long, long time. Now I can see orbs when I'm relaxed, when I'm in a good place. So when I'm having a conversation with someone, and I can see orbs around them. So, and the orbs might be angels, they might be fairy energy, they might be loved ones that have passed, so some family members that are coming back to give them love and support. So I might see that as well. And I see them as different colors and shapes physically. But that took me a long, long time. For a long time, all I could do, I had a sense that angels existed. I had a sense, and in my, you could say, my imagination was the place where I started. Where when my grandfather started speaking to me when I was 16, I just knew, I just had this, I could see him in my mind, and I just could feel his presence around me. But I couldn't, not with my physical eyes, I couldn't see him. So there's so many different ways that your angels use to communicate with you. So Chiara, you need to think about, you're a very spiritual person. And like most of us, when we have our kids, you can veer off track for a while. You just forget yourself for a little while, and you give your all to your kids and to your family. And it's only when they get to maybe around school age, which is Ben's age, he's going to be in school next year, you know, that we really start to think about ourselves again. You know, Emily is in school in September, and I'm thinking that's going to be a big turning point for me again in my life and in my spiritual business, where I will have more time than I currently do. I currently only have 3 days a week that I give to business, and they are half days. So it's about 10 to 12 hours a week goes on my spiritual business and spiritual work. But that will change in September. I'll have some more time. So it's about, you're saying we need to tell the truth to ourselves, and that's it, Chiara. There's something going on here which we won't really explore completely here, but it's about, it's time for you to really trust the messages that you're getting from your angels in whatever way you're getting them. It can be a gut feeling, it can be angel cards, it can be messages, but whatever messages you're getting, you need to start listening to them. And the thing is that sometimes the angels have to give us a message 1,000,000 times before we get it and before we take action. And that's okay. Put down the guilt stick, no beating. And an example of that is in my own life. I've been getting a message for probably about a year now that I need to look at my diet and I need to cut out some things. And I've been getting that but it's getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and it's starting to cause me a bit of pain and discomfort now, the different foods that I eat that don't agree with me. So it's got to the stage now where I absolutely have to take action. But I could have taken action a year ago. I didn't have to wait till it got to the breaking point. It seems to be one of my my lessons, as that story I shared with you at the beginning. So that's you, Chiara. So Rosemary, do you want to try again, love, to hop on? And we'll see if we can give you a reading, Rosemary. And if not, if somebody else wants to hop on. Okay, Rosemary, we're going to give you one more shot, love. So I'm clicking accept. And now, so your face is, okay. So I'm waiting for Rosemary to come on, and I'm going to answer Lynn's question. So Lynn asks, how do I know what the messages and feelings are telling me and which to trust? So which ones to trust, I presume that means. So Rosemary, I can't seem to get you online, love. Not working, darling. I don't know if it's my connection or your connection, but I'm giving you lots of high fives anyway. Sorry about that, love. It's not working. Today is not the day, probably. Okay. So, Lynn. So it's a really good question, Lynn, that you've asked. How do I know what the messages and feelings are telling me and which to trust? And the thing is that your angels will, there's a difference in the voice. So yesterday, I woke up like everybody else to hear the news about the vote in Britain, and that Britain had voted to leave the EU. And I felt the shock of that. And my ego voice, this is my ego voice, was saying, oh my God, what a catastrophe, what a disaster. What are you going to do? How is that going to affect you? It's gone this and that and all, and my friends in England, and oh my God, and what repercussions in the economy, and negative spiral, off I go, la 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 la, all the disasters of the world. But in the background was my angel voice, my soul and angel essence. And that was saying, everything happens for a reason. Some good will come from this. Just because you can't see the good now doesn't mean that some good will come from this. You know that everything in life turns around and everything has its ebb and flow, and that from every disaster comes beauty and transformation. And you also know that the bigger the disaster, the bigger the opportunity for growth and love in the world. So there's a difference in those two voices. And can you hear it, Lynn? Can you hear those two voices, Lynn? That one is fear and panic, and the other is love and reassurance. And that's the angel voice. And most of us, honestly, and myself as well, are listening to the panic voice. And it's only by cultivating and creating those few minutes of peace and quiet, whether that's a walk in the park, whether that's your workout, an exercise routine, whether that's dancing in the kitchen, whether that's cuddling on the bed with your kids and having a laugh and tickling, whether that's buying yourself a bunch of flowers and appreciating that, whether that's looking in the mirror and saying you're beautiful, whatever it is that brings that helps you to deepen that connection with your angels and make that voice stronger. So yes, and that's it, a cross between anxiety and excitement. And I had a client once, and he came to me. He was having severe anxiety and panic attacks. I had myself out there as an NLP consultant at the time. So I was working with NLP and timeline therapy. This was before I stopped that, and I thought I can only do this with angels. And he came to me, and I said to him, "Can you describe fear? Think about your fear, and can you describe it to me?" And he said, "Well, it starts in my belly, and it's about a football, about the size of a football. And I said, and where does it move to? And he said, well, it moves up into my throat. It sort of gets stuck there for a minute, and then it moves up into my head, and it moves out. And that's the energy of the fear. So I said to him, think about a moment when you felt confident and excited and happy, and describe that to me. And he said, well, it starts in my belly. It's about that size. And I said, where does it move? And he said, well, it moves up into my throat, and then it moves into my head, and then it moves out. And I was astounded at that, and he was astounded that he had described anxiety and fear and excitement and confidence exactly the same way. The only difference was his perception of what that was. So when you're about to do something that's causing you anxiety, you can choose to recognize this as a necessary excitement. So you can start to look at the anxiety in a different way. You can start to say, oh God, there's the butterflies. That's what usually happens before I go to speak, or I'm going to do something that I'm a little bit scared of, or that brings me inside of my comfort zone. So every actor, no matter how long they've been in the acting business, still says that they get butterflies, they have these sensations of fear, but they can call it fear, or they can call it excitement, adrenaline, what they need to give a good performance. So I hope that helps you, Lynn, and I'm going to just pull a card for you as well. And if there's anyone else, and then I think we're going to end the blab then in the next 5 minutes. We haven't done a meditation yet, so we're going to do that just before we go. So I'll give a card for Lynn, and I'll do one more reading for someone. So if anyone wants to try and hop on and see if we can. Okay, and Lynn, this is for you. So who is that calling in? Can you just text who that is calling in? Because I'd like to know who it is first before it comes on, before I click you in. So just click in the message there, who that is calling in. Aisling. Okay, Aisling Cleary. So I'll let you in now in a second, Aisling. Okay. So this is for Lynn, and it's take your time making this decision. So there's no worry, there's no hurry, there's no fuss, Lynn. So Lynn, you're doing the Transform with Angels course. So that's going to really change and transform your life. In the next 12 weeks, you're going to really see huge differences. And there's no hurry with this. You just take your time. There's a decision to be made, and your angels are helping you with this. So you just need to relax into it a little bit and stop worrying, because when you worry, that's where your focus is going. When you're worrying about the negative or an outcome, all the possible scenarios, negative scenarios that could happen, that's where your energy is going. And especially now as you're in the Transform with Angels course, your energy is getting stronger and you can manifest more quickly. So you need to be really conscious of what you're focusing on, of where your thoughts are going. So another thing that can help with decisions, there's a backflow remedy that's coming up for you, and I might have recommended it, Lynn, in your jigsaw box. It's Serato. And Serato is the remedy that helps us to hear our soul. So it's a really good, actually it's a really brilliant remedy for everybody here today, because this is the whole energy of support, of supporting your soul and making that voice, that soul essence really, really loud. So Serato. And if you pop into the big group and ask me, I'll tell you about dosage and drops and whatever, but try and get yourself that remedy, the backflow remedy, Serato. So take your time making this decision. Archangel Michael, please help me stay strong and relaxed as I approach this situation. Remind me to detach and step back, allowing the situation to naturally unfold, and thank you for protecting me. So you're safe, you're protected, and there will be a positive outcome to this situation. So I hope that's been helpful. Lynn, and let's see who we have. Aisling. So Aisling, you're going to hop on. So Aisling, you're on air. Yoo-hoo!
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
Not too bad.
So, have you got a question for me today?
I have. It's about work. Should I look for something else, or should I stay where I am?
Okay. And what do you think about what's come up for us, what we've been speaking about today, Aisling?
When you were describing someone who just that she needed to get a cleaner, that she was all work and she'd no time for herself, and everything is only done by half, so I have no whole time for everything. That resonated with me, because I actually think I need to get a cleaner too.
Who have we got there? How old is that? Your son?
It is Connor.
Hi, Connor.
Say hi.
You have your hands full. Right. How old is he?
He's 3, and I have a 7-year-old as well. So life is very hectic in our house, and always rush. Yeah. Always rushing out in the morning at work and so on. So
yeah. No, I was a couple of weeks ago, Aisling. I said I was doing a group call with the Metatron group, and I said to them, if I had a theme song for that morning, it would have been the A-Team. You know the A-Team?
Yeah.
Because that's what it was like that morning in the house. It was like shoes, coats, bags, lunch. I forgot the lunch. Get out the door. Get into the car.
I know, you always arrive at school and you've forgotten something.
It can be just pandemonium, and that's exactly what happened. And it's like that Murphy's Law.
Yeah.
Like last week, I had to run back and get Emily's lunch because I had forgotten it. I arrived at the play school and I had forgotten her lunch, so I had to run all the way back. But let me see. So what are you doing at the moment? Where are you working at the moment?
I work with children at the moment. It's
okay.
In a creche.
And where would you like to work?
I don't know. I'm just thinking, do I need a change? Should I change my job at the moment, or should I look for something else, or do something else that's easier? It's very hard at the moment. The work is very hard in there, so I'm thinking, should I look for something easier? I'm there a while, so is it that I need something new?
Okay, and is it that you need something new?
Yeah, maybe I think that, yeah.
Because you have the answers.
I know.
And part of the reason that you asked the question is because you have that answer.
Okay, I think I need to do something new, but this job suits that I can bring in my kids on one day a week, and it allows me to work. And financially, I can't afford to just leave work, so I need to find something else instead. So should I start looking for something else, or should I stay? Or that's what I want to ask Angel.
So what I want you to do when you get a half an hour on your own.
Not very often.
When you can manage it in the next 7 days, is to sit down with a candle and your breath and invite your angels in and write it out what you'd love the ideal situation to be. So an example of this is, that's absolutely fine, don't be worrying, he's great. So an example of that is, I needed a house years ago, and I was looking for somewhere to rent. So I needed somewhere near town, near the city centre. So it seemed impossible to get something in the budget that I had. But I just sat down and I wrote a letter to the angels. And I said, okay, I need a big bedroom. This house needs to have big rooms. It needs to be within walking distance of the city centre, but it needs to be in a really nice area. It needs to be cozy and warm. Whatever, the list. It needs to be newly painted. Some of the things were ridiculous that I wrote on the list. But I got really, really clear on what I wanted. And this is all I can pay for it. And it seemed ridiculous and it seemed impossible that I could have all of this at the price that I had available, because And accommodation in the city centre was really expensive, but I only had this budget. And I just put it out there to the angels, and I just said, this or something better. If I'm okay where I am, I have a roof over my head, I'd love to move. But if I can, this is what I need. This is what I need to be able to move. And that's what I did. And within a week, I opened the newspaper. I saw an ad for like Kilmainham. Kilmainham was like 20 minutes walk from city centre Dublin. Little house, beautiful. And but the rent was too high. But I had a nudge, and I said, I'm going to go and have a look anyway. So I went, I had a look, I got chatting to the guy. I had 2 other people that were going to move with me if I got this place. So I had roommates, I had everything set up, I just needed to find the place. They were like, you'll never find it. I spoke to the guy, got chatting to him. I said, look, I really, really love this place, but this is all I can afford. And he said, look, I'll get back to you. And I left, and he said, listen, he rang me back within 24 hours, and he said, look, the place is yours.
The angels were looking
at that price. So, but you know, I had a choice at every stage of that. I had a choice not to write my letter to the angels and to ask for what I really wanted, even though it seemed ridiculous. I had a choice not to open the newspaper, even though I got that little nudge. And I had a choice when I saw the ad and I saw the price, to allow my ego to tell me, this is not, because that was the voice, this is not worth going to, because it's way out of your budget. They'll never come down. You'll never be able to negotiate. If I had to listen to that, I had a choice to listen to all of that negativity at every single step of the way. But I have that angel voice, and that's what we're talking about today, that just said, just so what? It's a half an hour out of your life. You'll go and see a house. It might be something that works. Yoo-hoo! Give me that soother. So, and that's what I wanted to do this week, Aisling.
Okay.
Is just sit down and look at the ideal, the big vision for what you want to happen in your life. You know, you might have to stay there for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
You might need to be in that job for a little bit longer, and sometimes we're in positions that we don't like or that doesn't suit us because we're needed in that space. So there can be that. So ask your angels to say, look, I'm a bit tired. I feel like I need a change, and I feel like I need an easier life, but I don't want to take a drop in income, and it'll actually have to be more because I'll have to pay for childcare because I have that inbuilt into that. So spell it out to them. Okay. Ask them for what you need, even if it seems ridiculous that you'll never get this. Just ask for it, and you won't believe the card that's come up. You will not believe this card. You created this situation, and you have the power, to change it.
Okay.
And this is your message from Michael, your prayer that we'll pray to Michael. We're asking Michael now. Thank you for letting me lean on your strength and for reminding me of my personal power. Please guide me to manifest and heal according to divine will, creating peace and blessings for everyone involved. And this picture is of an angel painting on a canvas, but the canvas is actually a mirror. So you're painting and creating the life of your dreams. And there's also something here, whenever we see a unicorn in the picture, it's to remind you that you have a big, big life purpose, that you have your life purpose involves reaching many, many people around the world. And I think I also gave you a message yesterday, Aisling, that your purpose involves working with children.
No, I think that, because I was working yesterday, so I couldn't go on yesterday. So, but I think last week you said to me that there was a purpose there, or something when I came on last Friday.
So there's something there about children are in your energy. Okay. So the work that you're doing at the moment, even though it might be tiring, you're close to your path. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it might be working with children in a different way. So everything that you're learning now in this current job is something that will stand to you later on.
Okay.
And I know it's tough. Any sort of care field is tough. It is tough work, you know, and especially when you have kids at home
Yeah.
and you're trying to run a house and everything. Yeah, yeah. But this is saying to you that you have the power. This is the ultimate manifestation card. And it's saying exactly what I've just told you, that if you give a half an hour in the next 7 days to painting the picture of what you want in your life, your angels will help you to make that happen. And then you have to take action. You have to follow the nudges, even though they seem ridiculous.
Yeah.
You have to pick up the phone, even sometimes they might be scary. You have to walk out the door. You have to communicate. You have to take action.
You have to do something. Okay.
You have to do something. Okay. So I love you very much. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for that.
Love to you and the family.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. And I have a very quick little story to tell you about I don't know if anyone knows the writer Florence Scovel Shinn. If you like Louise Hay, Florence is pre-Louise Hay. Is like in the 1940s. She was like superwoman in terms of manifesting and creating the life that you want. And there's a beautiful story in one of her books about this woman that needed a tenant in her house. And she went to Florence, asked for some help. And Florence says to her, you'll get a nudge, you'll get a hunch, you'll get some action that you need to take. She came back a week later. She said, I still haven't got a tenant. And Florence said to her, but did you get a nudge? You haven't taken action. And she said, well, I got this silly nudge that I was to go and buy 2 bedside lamps for that room that the tenant was in. But she said, I haven't got the money. And I thought, I'll wait until I get the tenant. And then I'll invest in these bedside lamps. And she said, well, how much is it? And she said, I mean, I don't know what the equivalent was then, but we say $10 for 2 small lamps. And she said, so you're allowing $10 to stop you from getting the ideal client. That's your nudge. That's your action. Even if it doesn't make sense to you, go out, get those lamps, and you'll get your tenant. And within a few days, she got a tenant. So it's about the angels will give you an action to take. When you ask them for help, there's always, we're in a physical world. We need to take action to bring our dreams into reality. Your angels are your guides. We are the action takers in our life. We are the active element in our lives. So anybody who hasn't read, she has written a lot of books. Nora said she loves it. There's, I have the full compilation of all of her books, but The Word is My Wand is one of them. So Google her. Nora, if you could write her name in there, because it's a very full, huge name, Florence Scovel Shinn, and anyone who wants to Google her, and I'd highly recommend picking up one of her books. So we didn't get time for meditation. Would you be willing to stay on for 5 more minutes and we'll do a meditation? Is that okay for everybody? We have really run over time here, so we'll do a little meditation. So let's take a breath. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, great. So let's take a breath. Let's take a breath, and another, and another. And just bring your focus and your attention into your body, down into your feet, and feel some thick, strong roots going from the soles of your feet, going right down, deep, deep down into the earth. Wrapping around the core of the earth, helping you to feel centered, to feel safe, to feel confident and grounded in your life, really physically in your body, in your life. Taking a nice breath. And those roots are so strong, going right down, deep, deep down into the earth, and allowing like bringing your focus just into your body for a moment, into your legs, into your feet, into your belly, into your chest, into your throat, into your mind, into your ears, into your hands. Just bring your focus and your energy into your body and become really, really relaxed and peaceful. Really wonderful. And moving up into your third eye, into that space on your forehead, and looking into that area, into your third eye. Imagine you can see a beautiful swirling, twirling purple light that's moving away from you and towards you. And as you gaze into this light, you become even more relaxed and even more peaceful. And it just brings you completely into your center. As you gaze at this light, you become more centered within yourself and more peaceful in your body. And each breath that you take brings you into a peaceful place, and you're more and more relaxed. And looking into your third eye, stepping now into a beautiful place in nature, using every single part of your piece. We have a visitor come in. We're going to leave now in a minute. So moving into your third eye, stepping into a beautiful place in nature. Stepping into a beautiful place in nature and seeing your guardian angel there in front of you. And just use every single part, use your imagination to really see this angel in every single detail. So imagine what shoes they would be wearing, or sandals, or maybe they're barefoot. Imagine the clothes or robes that they're wearing. Imagine the color of their eyes. Imagine their wings. Are they big? Are they small? Imagine the smile on their face. Imagine the love, the absolute love coming from this angel, moving out into this space and filling this space and completely surrounding you with this comforting blanket of love. And just feel that energy as it envelopes you. Such a comforting space. And this is your guardian angel. And if you don't know your guardian angel's name, you can ask them. You can ask them right now into this space, and just allow the first thing that comes into mind. And you can share that with us later, or in the Facebook group. And just asking your guardian angel now, what's the one support that I need in my life right now? What's the one thing that I can do in my life right now to bring support? What's the one thing that you can do for yourself this week to give you more support in your life? To help you to feel more supported in your life. And within that support is the energy of love. So to help you to feel loved this week, to help you to feel embraced this week. So what's the one thing that you can do for yourself? And just allow that information to pop down into your mind, into your heart. That one piece of advice and guidance from your angel. And just accept that and promise to take action. Promise to take action for yourself. You're worth it. Promise to show yourself that you love yourself, and just take this one little action this week that will help you to feel loved and supported. And thank your guardian angel. And know that you can come. This angel is with you all the time, has been with you from the moment you arrived, even before you arrived. Knows your sacred contract and knows everything about you and about your mission on this planet. And your angel is the perfect support for you at every single stage of your life. So it's really worth making a deep connection with this angel and all of your angels. So bringing yourself back into your third eye, back into your body. If you've closed your eyes, you can open them, move your hands and your feet. Just bring yourself right back into this room. And just pop into the chat box there the one thing that you are going to do for yourself to support yourself. And I know it sounds like a silly thing, but I have to go and get my nails done, because that really makes me feel graceful and elegant and loved and nurtured. So it's a little bit of self-pampering for me this week. One little thing that will help me to, that my angel gave me. So if anyone would like to share I'm going to pick one more card for the group as a whole, and it is a butterfly card. So for every single one of these blabs or live casts that I do, it's about transformation of some little shifts or big shifts. And Lynn is soaking in a hot bath tonight before bed. I need to be kind to myself, and that's it. I'm actually going to do that one as well. So here we are, a dietary change. So this is definitely a message for me and a message for the group. And this is Metatron, purple Metatron, and bringing us to our spirit, our true spiritual existence, our true spiritual path. So this is for everybody. So to look at everything that you nourish your body, mind, and soul with this week. And that's the food that you eat, the thoughts that you think, you know, being kinder, and the people in your environment that you surround yourself with. Are they supportive? Are they draining your energy? Are they giving you energy? The work that you do, is there a kinder way that you could do your work that wouldn't leave you exhausted and drained afterwards? So just think this week about things that you can do to just nurture and support yourself. And this is, I'm going to get my nails done. I need a refill. So love to everybody today. Thank you so much for joining me on this blab. Share it with your friends if you think that anything here could help somebody somewhere in their life in the next 7 days. And I'll be back on as soon as I can. Love to you all. Angels are with you. You are not alone in this world. Mind yourselves. Bye.